say something nice about Steve.
I mean, genuinely one of the nicest guys you know.
I pick on him all the time. And I did say to him recently, you know what? I got to be nicer to you. He said, you better fucking not. What up, peeps? I'm Jim. Welcome to the Have and Catch podcast, the show where we have a catch and chat with friends. Today I'm having a catch with my favorite music critic, Mr. D. Mr. D, how are you?
I'm good, Jimmy. How you doing?
Good. First question I ask everybody, this podcast. Do you say have a catch or play catch?
That's, I thought you were going to ask me that, so I did some thinking on it. And I checked with my good friend back home, Chris. I'm going to shout him out. We said play catch.
Play catch.
And he said he never heard have a catch until he was an adult, and he still thinks it's weird. So, but I did a little research.
Yeah, okay.
That's okay.
As you do.
If that's okay on this podcast.
Heck yeah.
I assumed, thinking about it, that it came from the movie, from Field of Dreams, which is when he says at the end, he says, "Do you want to have a catch?"
Oh.
So I looked into that, and Kevin Costner says the writer of the movie was from New York, and that's what they said. And he thought it was weird and wanted to change it when they were filming it. So have a catch, I think, for your generation might come from that movie in particular.
Yeah. See, I think most people say play catch, though.
Yeah.
So I think I'm in the minority, but as I've said 1,000 times so far on this podcast, I'm right. That I know.
But I say it now because my kids grew up, and I'm, going up playing catch with my kids. They still say, "You want to have a catch?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it sounds logical.
Yeah.
I'm a word guy, so it makes me think.
Yeah. So from that perspective, is it right? Like, does it still make sense from like the editorial aspect, the grammar police kind of thing, or no?
I think yes. I've thought a lot about it. I'm not sure I could explain why, but I think it does it's evolved at least to make some sense.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like the fact that it's, caught on and become a thing,
So my friend Nick, his point was he used to be a play catch guy. So he's like from the Scranton area, and he would say play catch. And when he watched Always Sunny, they were saying have a catch, and he thought it was hilarious. He didn't realize till he met me, that's what we say around here. We say have a catch. But he looked into it too, and he thinks maybe it's more proper or more sophisticated to say have a catch, because over in England they'll be like, hey, you want to have a kick?
Oh.
With regards to soccer.
Interesting.
So maybe that's kind of where it came from. But I don't know. I like to have a kick, have a catch. It sounds like I'm more classy than I actually am.
I would guess you're a big fan of the movie Field of Dreams.
Hot take, I've never seen it.
Really?
Never seen it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I probably should have seen it, but I haven't seen it.
Interesting.
I have a long flight to Ireland coming up, so maybe I'll throw that on there.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. I'm actually, it hurts my soul to say I haven't seen it, like, because a lot of people expect me to have seen it.
Right.
Being a baseball guy,
It's not my favorite. That's my hot take.
Really?
Yeah. I don't like, I don't want to give anything away, but I like realism, and it's got it makes you take a leap of faith or belief or something that it's tough for me.
That I
get
I'm
why
kinda
people
with
like
you.
it. But
yeah, I'm kind of with you. The sense I get from people is that it's like a real father-son type thing. You watch it with your kid, and it makes you bond a little bit.
Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I should have done that with my boys.
Yeah, my dad never did it with me, so obviously I didn't watch it. And I like to ask people this, but I feel like it won't be as shocking. When's the last time you had a catch with a baseball?
Just the other night.
See, yeah, I figured you'd be more recent. You got all these crazy kids.
Yeah, Leo still likes to have a catch, so
we
actually I had 3 of the 4 boys out in the street. But we had, the one that he brought out was, the squishy ones from the Robo-Ball era. So a little safer on us.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah, a lot of cars around.
Starts going out into the neighborhood, bouncing around, causing some damage.
Yeah, I much prefer throwing with a baseball.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
feels better. Feels more natural.
Well, that's a good segue here because we know each other from softball, and people probably wonder why I'm calling you Mr. D, but one would assume that I've known you for a while now, and you have since told me to not call you Mr. anymore, but I can't break the habit. It's
Right.
been a while. You know?
Well, you when you took over managing the softball team when you
Yeah.
were 19, I said, oops, in the dugout, I said, you can start calling me Dan now.
Yeah.
And your parents were like right behind you, and you said, not in a million
Yeah.
years.
No
And
chance.
you pretty much haven't slipped.
No.
Even
No.
on a basketball court, sometimes it's still Mr. D.
Yeah. And everybody else, and there's a lot of people there who are older than you who I call by their first name.
Yeah.
Because I've met them since when I was older. But when I met you younger, my parents were there. You were Mr. D.
Even on the lineup sheet,
Yeah.
you had like Jimmy, Nick, Mr. D.
Yeah. I remember you taking a picture of that and being like, I'm going to show my kids this. Yeah.
That's not the first time I encountered you, though. First time I guess I met you was at your coach's camp. He did a little clinic for Little League coaches.
I was in high school, right?
Yeah, I think you were a sophomore. And he introduced you as the best fundamentally sound outfielder he'd ever coached. So I was impressed watching you do these drills and stuff. And then you showed up on our softball team playing some pretty mean shortstop. Yeah. And it turns out you're actually a shortstop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. You were pretty good in the outfield.
Well, I appreciate the kind words from you and my coach. But I've had played infield my whole life. And then once you get to the bigger fields, you know, our coach had us throw as far as we possibly can as young kids in hindsight, which doesn't seem like the best idea. But it's just to get you prepared. But I got tendonitis from that, so I couldn't throw. So my dad put me in the outfield. He's like, well, underhanded in or something, just like catch the ball and like get the ball back in. And that was when I first started playing outfield. And then when I got to high school, we had a ton of infielders. And I went up to coach and I said, I can do whatever one you want, so just tell me where to go. He's like, go to the outfield, we need outfielders. And that's when I just started playing outfield full time.
Probably got you more playing time early, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's smart.
And going into my sophomore year, we did like preseason interviews about like where you think you are on the team, like are you 1 through 9 or like 9 through 18 or whatever. And I said at that point I think I would be 1 through 9 because we're small school. I talked about it with Tim in that episode. We don't cut, so that's not like that crazy of a thing.
Right.
But my coach told me, he's like, if I asked you this question in your freshman year, he's like, I would have said you were 18. You were the last of the last. Because I was a small, skinny guy. He didn't know anything about me. He was from the Council Rock area.
Right.
So he's like, I didn't see it coming, but yeah, you're 1 through 9. And I was
Nice.
like, yeah, that feels good.
But he took shortstop away from you.
Yeah. Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
I think I transitioned to shortstop in softball because nobody wanted to do it. Like, it's scary being in the infield with these metal bats coming at you.
It is terrifying.
Yeah.
I've always been afraid of the ball anyway, so outfield was just fine for me.
Yeah, you were what, right center for us in the early days?
I was left fielder. Mike Doherty was left center usually, and then
Gotcha.
And you brought in some kids.
Yes, I started bringing my friends in. Yep.
I'm much better in left. Center field's harder for me. Right field is really hard.
You know when your last year of softball was with us, because you haven't been there in a little bit. But was it 19? Like your Sons of Pitch is 19 shirt.
I played a couple games that year. It's kind of hurt.
Yeah.
And found out it's not like riding a bike.
No.
Did not come back easily. So,
Did you get your championship ring in the mail?
I did not. Still waiting on that. Yeah, it figures you'd win the championship after I ducked out.
Right, yeah.
The 1 year.
We had a couple years where we should have won.
That's for sure.
And we did not.
No.
We did not. We had a good team all the time, but couldn't bring it home.
I do miss it sometimes, though.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So I introduced you as my favorite music critic, and it's something I've come to know about you over the last, 5, 6 years, I guess. We've been playing basketball now. I guess I've been playing basketball for about 10 years now, too.
Yeah.
And I have been bringing the music. I can't believe you guys never played with music before. It was mind-boggling to me. But I have a wide range of music on that playlist, I would say.
You do.
And I get a wide range of takes from you on there, too. But as people probably can see, I have a musical shirt on. And that's Jim Croce. And do you want to explain to everybody why I have this shirt on?
Well, you're a huge fan of Jim Croce for one
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Is there more to it than that?
Well, you are as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have been my whole life.
Yes.
I credit my mother. She's a big kind of folk music fan, so
Yeah.
grew up with that kind of stuff. Still love it.
Oh yeah. He's you find it fascinating that someone my age, because for people who don't know, Jim Croce passed away in 1973, and I can go on and on about Jim Croce's life if you want, but he passed away in 1973, and I had recently just discovered him over the last couple of years, but I'm willing to say he's my favorite artist. Like, he is amazing. But do you find someone my age listening to him like kind of fascinating, like kind of discovering him, because he hasn't been around a long time?
It's pretty interesting to me, although my kids like him and like a lot of stuff like that because I've played it for them over the years. Like Operator came on recently, and
Oh yeah.
3 of the 4 of them were all singing it. And they knew
I
more
love that.
words than I did, and I'm like, I don't remember bringing that to them. I think they came up with that on their own.
Huh.
So I think did your parents listen to that kind of stuff?
No. So I was watching Django Unchained,
Okay.
and one of the big scenes in there early on, or maybe in the middle, I guess it's like a transition to the second act, is I Got a Name comes on.
Okay.
And I remember listening to that song, like, what the heck is this song? Like, this is great. This song is awesome. I love it. And then I looked it up, and it was Jim Croce. And of course, my brother had been talking with, our family friends. Gary was on the softball team with us.
Yep.
He loves Jim Croce. His wife loves Jim Croce, and Brian was talking to him about it. And I didn't have time for that conversation. I was like, who the heck is this guy? I don't care, whatever. But then I heard that song, and I saw it was him, and I was like, oh, now I understand. I got to go into a deep dive. And he has so many hits, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So many. But I didn't realize he passed away when he was 30.
Yeah.
And like, once I found out he had all those hits and he died when he was 30, and we got robbed of even more hits from him, I started going down a rabbit hole of his overall life story, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, he died at 30. He looks 70.
Yeah. That's what shocked me. I was like, look at him.
Yeah.
He doesn't look 30. I'm
No.
32. He looks 10, 15, 20 years older than me.
Easily. Yeah. I think he might look older than me.
Yeah, he does. And you're not old. You got a couple grays in there.
That's why I'm wearing the hat. Though.
Yeah.
Oh. So I picked the hat because it's Silbury baseball. You
Yeah.
grew up playing baseball, Little League. I coached dozens of teams over the years.
Yep.
Managed to find one that still says Coach Dan on the inside.
Get outta
So
here.
I guess this actually is mine and not one of the kids.
Yeah. When's the last time you coached? Like, because your kids aren't like overly baseball people, I'd say, right?
No,
like,
they played rec baseball, so I
Yeah.
coached, especially the first 3. I coached up until like minors, a couple years of majors.
Yeah.
But they were more into soccer and basketball.
Right.
So last time I coached was Leo's travel team, probably 5 years ago.
Huh.
And I think it's about 65 teams total, or 65 seasons or something like that.
Of coaching.
Yeah.
All different sports.
Yeah, baseball, basketball, and soccer.
Yeah.
So
if I had to guess, your probably number one sport would be basketball.
for sure.
Yeah. But what would you say, like, your kids, what did they gravitate towards? I know Leo's playing tennis right now, right?
Leo is playing tennis. Ben plays a lot of tennis now. He started during the pandemic and got good right away. So
Yeah.
the 3 of us play all the time. He was a very good soccer player. Got got concussions in high school, kind of had to give it up. Jake was a runner in college and high school. And Casey's just he runs, kind of does his own thing.
Yeah.
You know, not so much into team sports.
There's always one.
Yeah.
You know, there's always one. How's your wife feel about having a house full of that many boys?
She seems okay with it. She did insist on, we got a fish once and we weren't sure what to name it. And she called out from the other room, "It's a girl and I'm naming it." So.
A fish.
So we got, now we have 2 girl dogs. So she gets to name them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do they gravitate to her the most?
The dogs?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Good. She's got something.
That's true.
She's got to have something. But a lot of you guys are all more mellow mannered.
Yes.
Have the boys always been that way, or do they get rowdy growing up?
No, they were always pretty chill kids.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that is a credit to us or just luck, but because I grew up with one sister, right? And we got along great. We didn't fight much at all. But I had friends with brothers, and my experience with friends with brothers was they just beat the shit out of each other all the time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I expected when we had boy number 2, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
They just never were that rambunctious.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I didn't have that experience. I kicked Brian's ass all the time.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If you could have a catch with anybody in the world, who would it be?
Oh yeah. So I got asked this by my buddy Nick.
Okay.
And I have since thought about it further, because he's like, obviously you want to have a catch with Chase Utley. I was like, yeah, I mean, I have a Chase Utley glove. I got this glove in 10th grade because of him. And then I told him that's too on the nose for Always Sunny. I would like to have a catch with Rob McElhenney, because he wanted to have a catch with Chase Utley in Always Sunny, and now they're good friends. But I guess if I have to go outside of that, I'm going to go a current Phil for sure, because I got to promote the podcast. I love to have a catch with Brandon Marsh. You know Brandon Marsh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to have a catch with him. He's been my boy when he was even on the Angels.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I'm super into fantasy baseball, and he was a top prospect. And I liked this scouting report. He had a good approach. I felt like a GM who knew what he was doing. And I really liked his vibe, his look, all the hair. I was like, that's my guy.
Nice.
That's my guy. So I had him on my team when he was on the Angels. So then when the Phillies traded for him, I was over the moon, ecstatic.
Nice.
And now I love him even more because I've learned more about him. So I'd love to have a catch with Brother Marsh. That's what they call him.
Nice.
So, yeah.
You can make that happen.
If only. If only. Got to go viral first. What about you? I should start asking people that. That's a good question to ask people. Who would you rather, out of anybody in the world, who would you want to have? Dead or alive even. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Who would you want to have a catch with?
You know, as soon as I asked you, I thought, oh no, he's going to ask me.
Yep.
I think this is going to sound a little melodramatic, but probably my father. My father's still with us, but
That's a good question.
He can't throw anymore. He has Parkinson's. So
yeah.
He's the one who taught me how to, catch and throw. He wasn't a big team sports guy. He didn't coach, but he knew he taught me how to throw and catch and shoot a jump shot. So, I mean, I owe him a lot for that, but he just used to really like just throwing a ball around. So I think he'd probably be the guy.
I think that's the best answer. And I feel like that should be my answer too, because I can, my dad's 60, but he can't throw. His shoulders are so bad. He'd be throwing like this.
That works. That works.
Well, yeah. I was you think about it. I forget who I was talking to about this, but you think about the stages of having a catch, right? It must have been so cool for you to have a catch with your kids if you're having a catch with your dad. And then we're talking about Field of Dreams and how that movie is the way it is, from what I hear.
Right.
But it must have been cool doing that for the first time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a little scary the first time, but I still remember being in the backyard with my dad, and I think about it every time I have a catch to this day. I just put my glove up and it just missed and it just hit me right square in the forehead. And I still think about it every time I put the glove up to catch one.
I feel like everybody's got to have one of those stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta take one to the face at some point. But Hopefully not with an actual baseball.
When you go out and have a catch with somebody just
Yeah.
like this, but not for the podcast, how soon until you sort of devolve or evolve into like ground balls and fly balls, and or do you just kind of do this?
So I haven't had a catch outside of this podcast just to have a catch. Like I think you have a catch all the time when you're playing on teams, right, to warm up, and then you don't just like, hey, you want to go have a catch?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess if it were happening, it would devolve into like breaking balls or change ups,
Right.
or like something different, as opposed to like ground balls or something like that.
Yeah, the guy I've played catch with the most, my friend Chris, I mentioned earlier, back home in New Hampshire. We'd go about 5 minutes like this, and then the ground balls would start, fly balls.
Yeah.
Trying to see if we could throw a knuckleball, which we absolutely cannot.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to try and throw a knuckleball to end the podcast, though. Okay. So, how's the old arm treating you over there?
Arm is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. This is a good distance.
Yeah.
Not airing it out too much.
Right. The first couple of times the distance I set up was, oh boy, it was a bit far.
I do like the the warm up, the gradual.
Yeah.
Stepping back, that's fun.
That's the one downside to doing this setup that I have here, is that we can't really extend because I'm a one-man operation.
Right.
Like if we had people holding cameras and following us around, we could really, letting it loose a little bit.
Where's Steve when you need him?
Yeah. Well, he's never where you need him. And I'm glad you brought Steve up, because I pretty much trashed him in every episode. And we're going to be wrapping up here pretty soon, and we haven't even mentioned him yet.
I'm here for it.
So, if you want to say something nice about Steve, with maybe like a backhanded compliment.
Wow, that's
yeah.
I might have to think about that one. He is, genuinely one of the nicest guys you know.
Yeah.
I know, so it's hard to say anything too nasty about him.
Right.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit. I pick on him all the time. And I did say to him recently, I said, you know what? I gotta be nicer to you. Like everybody likes to pick on you. You're easy to pick on. I gotta be nicer to you. And he said, you better fucking not. And that's why I love Steve.
You start to wonder what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
I got another question. But
okay.
Are you a finger in or out guy on the?
I go finger out, and I also do. I go my last two fingers, I put them in the last slot.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
Why finger out? What does that do for you?
I don't know. It's just a preference thing.
Yeah, I go in and out. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Sometimes it just feels cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it feels cool. All right. You got a family to feed. You cook?
I do cook. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do a good chunk of the cooking. I love to cook. I love to eat, so
right.
Have to prepare what I like. But yeah, I do a lot. Got enough leftovers from what I cooked over the weekend.
Okay,
so.
Nice.
Fish yesterday.
Oh.
What did I make? I don't remember what I made the rest of the weekend, but
Fridays
are takeout nights. What's that?
You have leftover fish.
We do. Yeah, not much. It's rare to have leftovers at all because we have 4 boys.
That's true.
I made a lot. I make too much food most of the time.
Yeah. Leftover fish. That doesn't sound right. You want to give me your best knuckleball, your best curveball. I'll let you decide, and then we'll get out of here so you can go eat some leftover fish.
All right. Let's see. I'll try a knuckleball. It won't work, but we'll try it anyway.
All right, we can give you a couple practice.
My best Tim Wakefield. Yeah, that's not good.
I couldn't see it. That doesn't count. That was a warm-up.
See, I got nothing.
Yeah.
It spins like crazy.
It's almost like a curveball. All right, last one for the win.
Curveball.
Oh, that was better.
That was better?
That was better, yeah.
Right.
We'll cut out the knuckleballs.
Okay.
All right, peeps. Catch you guys later.